yesterday. It has failed the test last August, when it mercilessly tortured more than 400 people and is trying at the moment 25 of them for the past 4 months for sedition, for fabrication of news, for communicating with foreign bodies, and of course for terrorism. Now, I think the issue of terrorism has been thrown back at the regime, and it is the one that is terrorism. You cannot cohabit with terrorists wherever they are. You can only habit with civilized people who uphold the rule of law, who give their population, their citizens, the right to self-destiny and to write their own constitution. This is not there in Bahrain, and I think the game is over for the ruling family. It has just to pack and go.
Ibrahim Khayat, do you think the game is over for the ruling family?
I don't think so. Basically, what's happening is we are judging based on the atrocities and the very harsh treatment conducted by the police in Bahrain, supported by the Saudi secret services or police, and probably many other countries in the region. What we have here is a typical failure of the political Arab system in all countries, in all parts of the world, like Africa, Latin America, Eastern Europe. We have seen regimes changing. What had happened in our region, basically, because of the war on terrorism, these regimes have been given a lifespan by the Americans to continue, because this is a strategy that was very oppressive. Regimes in the region are protected by the Americans in exchange for their services, their functionality in the internal world order, because of the oil, because of protecting Israel. So these are two main issues. And these regimes, they looked up to the foreign powers because they were backwarded, etc. They needed economic development, and also they needed protection. But during this economic development, what happened is that we have had a lot of failure on the social development, economic development. Because of the political corruption, we ended up with these regimes not finding any way to communicate with their societies, but through the security solution. The security solution is what we have seen in Tunisia. The regime had failed. In Egypt, the regime had failed. And now in Bahrain, it is normal for the regime to fight back using the atrocities, because this is the only thing he has. And also at the same time, you cannot think what you cannot imagine. These people have never thought about ruling their society in a different manner or sharing power. This is for them is something they can accaparate, they can use sectarian reasons, like in Bahrain, or Islamic Brotherhood or terrorism, Islamic terrorism in Egypt, or the same also in Tunisia. Everyone is using a tool to convince the West that I'm the good servant, I'm the good, I have to play my role, allow me to abuse human rights, so the elite in power will continue. And one of the problems also is that on the regional level, not only Americans and Europeans have been shocked by the wave of changes that are so quick. The GCC countries are feeling unable to answer this kind of challenge. They are afraid of having this contagious phenomenon reaching their own shores. They are trying to find a common response, like this is only a security issue. But on the long run, I think the ruling family, the main problem in the ruling family is not the king himself or the crown prince, whom it happens that I know personally, who is a kind and a good person. But the problem is, I believe, is with the prime minister, Sheikh Khalifa bin Isa, who has been there for more than 42 years in power. The king, personally, I think he doesn't even dare to challenge his authority sometimes. He has been there for a long time. His policies are questionable, especially on the sectarian level.
Okay.
Most of the oppression has come from his own inner circle of people, of the political corruption that surrounds his grasp of power. And I believe the Americans, what are saying now, yes, do some change in Bahrain, they mean get rid of this problem and move on to something else.
Okay, Saeed Al-Shihabi, as we heard there, the problem was said to be the prime minister, not necessarily the ruling monarchy. Do you agree with that?
Well, this is our guest's personal view. I do not distinguish between the king, his son, or the prime minister. In fact, to me, the prime minister is probably less dangerous than the king. The king himself is the person who has ordered the people, his troops to storm the camp at Pearl Square. He himself and his son have advocated the use of violence. The king 2 days ago, 3 days ago, came out in his military suit and boasted of the power he has under his command. And it is difficult to suggest that it is only the prime minister, because I think they are working in collaboration. And if that is the case, then the king should come clean, apologize to the nation, order the arrest of the prime minister, not only for the crimes committed yesterday, but for the crimes committed over the past 40 years, including the dissolution of the parliament in 1975 and the repeal of the only legitimate constitution that has ever been approved in Bahrain, and order an investigation into the deaths in custody or in the street, the extrajudicial killings and the torture that has been inflicted on the people. These are the least that could have happened. The king heard and listened the demands of the people more than a month ago, when they decided that, to dedicate the 14th of February to be the Day of Rage. Not a single step was taken apart from trying to buy off the families by suggesting to buy them for £1,600 each. And that is just a mean offer at a time of crisis.
Okay.
He showed that he wasn't aware of what's going on in the country, and he couldn't gauge the mood of the new generation that is being inspired by what is happening around them on regional and international levels.
Ibrahim Khayat, would you like to respond to that?
Basically, you know, what we're trying to do is we're trying to analyze in a methodological and analytical way. We're trying to guess what's really happening. We are both away, but based on the experience we've seen, the typical reaction that has happened in the inner circle of both Ben Ali and Mubarak during the first day of the revolt in these countries. In Bahrain, there is no revolt. It's a protest movement. It is a reformist movement that wants to share the power, that wants to bring its revendications into the inner circle of the ruling elite, not to throw it out yet. But basically, what had happened in Egypt and in Tunisia, the advisors have told, or the ministers have told the ruler in Egypt and Tunisia that, no, these are small guys, we can manage them. They went to the solution they have learned that was efficient, which is the atrocities, oppression, and the security solution. 3, 4, 5 days after, things have started to change, international attention and pressure that is coming. Let's not forget that the game is not only in the hands of the king or his uncle, the prime minister, because now the Americans have in the waters of the Gulf, the region, 92 ships, which is the biggest armada ever in history and the biggest armada in the world. The Americans cannot allow this crisis to continue endlessly if the security solution is not going to succeed in 1 or 2 days. So what will happen is probably there will be a scapegoat.